saucer in the middle was missing. That's how I could see Gina down there on the beach.
Oh, sure. Maybe someone just lifted one of those huge circles out and walked away with it without being seen.
Honestly, Tess, first you see some dark spirit under the devil's elbow, and now you're seeing missing saucers. I thought people like you always saw flying saucers.
Knock it off, Trudy. Take it easy, Tess. You're just upset about Gina.
I know what I saw. Gina couldn't have fallen any other way.
Maybe she tumbled over the railing on the balcony.
No, she wasn't clumsy. Anyway, it's too high.
I think you'd better talk to the police, miss. We need to clear this up right now. I don't want any doubts about the safety of the boardwalk.
Mr. Mancini took Tess's arm and led her to his office, followed by Candace, Sam's sister, looking more frightened than usual, and Guy Joe, his lips tight in anger. 2 uniformed policemen were already waiting there. They asked Tess to show them the place in the funhouse where Gina had fallen. When they could find no evidence of any circle having been tampered with, they walked away from her.
Isn't this the girl who brought that note in? The note in purple crayon?
Yeah, one of those rich kids lives up on the hill. Broken home and all that. Probably gets everything at home, except attention. You know what I mean?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
If the saucer wasn't missing, how could Gina have fallen through to the beach?
Yeah, well, good question. Look, kid, you can go back to the others now. I'm sure you're all anxious to know how your friend is down at the medical center. We'll investigate this matter thoroughly. I promise.
Tess knew they never would, not unless she had some proof. She knew someone had taken the missing saucer. But who? Whoever had written that purple note. What frightened Tess most was that everyone who had been hurt so far, with the exception of innocent bystanders, had been her age and in her group of friends. Dade, Sherry, Joey, and now Gina. And then she realized something even more frightening. Whoever had slipped the note under her door knew that she wasn't living at her father's anymore, but was in the condominium with Shelley. Only a few people knew that, Tess's closest friends. But none of her friends could ever do anything this horrible. Or could they? When Tess arrived at the hospital, they were all sitting there, waiting for news about Gina. Tess looked at each of them, her mind racing.
Could shy, quiet Candace be hiding feelings of anger about her fellow students? Or Beak, that lover of practical jokes? Surely even he couldn't find the crash of the devil's elbow funny, could he? What about Trudy? I remember that violent temper tantrum she had in the school parking lot. Trudy, sitting there in her expensive pink jumpsuit, filing her nails and ogling Guy Joe. Could she have wanted one of her friends to suffer? What about Doth? He would know the funhouse inside out. He works at the boardwalk. He'd know how to remove and replace one of those metal saucers. But Gina would be the last person in the world Doth would want to hurt. Wait a minute. That missing saucer was meant for me. And I didn't lose my keys. They were taken from my pocket. That's why I couldn't find them when I went back. And Doss could have taken them. He was standing near me when we went into the funhouse. Then he could have removed the saucer, knowing I would have to go back to search for the keys. So Gina's fall wasn't an accident. And that's what that note meant when it said, "Who will be next?"
Tess, you cold? You're shivering. You want my jacket?
No, not cold. Just thinking.
Bad thoughts.
I can't tell you.
Suit yourself. Mind if I sit here with you?
Tess didn't answer. She was watching Gina's mother, Mrs. Jamboni, who was weeping quietly. Until now, Tess hadn't considered what all this horror must be like for the parents. It's worse for them, she thought.
Mr. and Mrs. Jamboni?
Yes?
I'm Dr. Oliver, Sam's father. Your daughter has a fractured leg and a mild concussion. We're going to keep her here for a while. No visitors for a day or two. Except you two, of course. You can go in and see her now.
Well, can't we see her?
Sorry, not yet. Maybe tomorrow.
But Tess stayed on at the hospital after the others had left, hoping Dr. Oliver would change his mind. She felt guilty. In a way, this was all her fault. The key case was hers. The injury should have been hers, too. Tess waited there until she was about to collapse with tiredness. but the doctor still wouldn't let her see Gina. Sadly, she hurried to her car and headed home. At the Shadows, Tess parked her car, locked it, and was about to run for the house when something caught her eye. An object was hanging from the top of the light fixture beside the kitchen door. The object seemed to be white, grayish white. It looked soft and furry. Peering into the shadows, Tess moved closer. A sudden breeze sent the object swaying back and forth. Glassy blue eyes turned and stared at her coldly.
No! Trilby! Trilby!
Poor Tess. Did pretty Kitty give her a fright? She had it coming.
Poor Trilby.
Hey!
Tess!
What's the matter?
Tess! What's happening?
What's the matter?
Tess, it's me. What on earth's wrong?
Look!
What the heck? It's not real. It's stuffed.
What?
It's a stuffed animal, like the kind my sister has all over her bedroom. Don't you, Candace?
So what, Sam? I like them.
Here, take a look, Tess.
Oh, stuffed?
Yeah, it looks real, though, doesn't it?
It's not Trilby. Not Trilby.
What's a
no.
Trilby?
Gina's cat. The big Siamese. Gina let it stay with me. It looks like that.
What would a cat be doing hanging from this light? Honestly, Tess, you get weirder and weirder.
Shut up, Trudy. You ever hear the word compassion? It was a good thing we decided to drop by tonight.
Yeah, it sure was.
Guy Joe lit the candle that was on the outside table, and the group sat around it, trying to calm themselves. The candle cast an eerie, sinister glow over their faces. Or was Tess so spooked now that everyone looked sinister to her?
So, Gina loaned you her cat. So why did you think it'd be hanging from your outside light?
I didn't think it was, Trudy. It was. Why would anyone pull such a rotten stunt? Or deliberately sabotage the devil's elbow, or write me a threatening note,
You got a threatening note? Why didn't you tell me?
Sam, the police practically laughed me out of the station when I showed them the note, so why would I tell anyone else about
What
it?
did it say?
I'll tell you. When I got home...
In the flickering candlelight, Tess repeated the note, word for word. She knew it by heart.
Could it be you? Why don't we wait and see?
Oh, Tess, that's awful. You must have been so scared. I would have been. Of course you would have been, Candace. You're afraid of your own shadow. Look, this is just a big joke.
Doesn't sound like a joke to me. Tess, I think you should move back to the house with Dad and me. Or at least until good old Shelley comes back. How about it?
Yeah, good idea, Tess. Even if it was a joke, you shouldn't be alone after the shock you've had.
The idea was tempting to Tess. It'd be so easy to let other people take care of her. But no, she'd always done that. And her father, who hadn't even called her since she moved in with Shelley, wouldn't take care of her. He'd take charge of her.
Thanks, Guy Joe. But I'll go back to the condo. I need to think. And I can do that better in my own house.
I'll stay with you, Tess, if you want me to.
Thank you, Candace. That would be nice.
Oh, great, Tess. Now I have to worry about you and my sister.
Well, we'll be fine. I'll lock all the doors and windows, and I'll put my attack cat where she can be seen. Now, you guys go home. Sam, if you're so worried you can sleep in a chair out here on the porch, I'll bring you a blanket.
No way. I am not freezing my buns off just because you're too stubborn to go back to your dad's. Find some other knight in shining armor.
Well, chivalry is dead. Tess, you had your chance. If anything happens to you, it's your own fault.
Was that a threat, Tess thought, as the group drove off? Trudy could have written a poem, and tied the animal to the light, and lifted off a saucer in the funhouse. She was strong enough. But why would she do it? Tess was glad that she had Candace with her. There was no way she could suspect Candace. Tess took her inside the house and turned on all the lights. She showed Candace where everything was, gave her her own bed, and took up a watchful position on the couch in the living room, with a poker near her hand, and Trilby soon purring contentedly on the Afghan blanket beside her.
Must be Shelley. She's forgotten the time difference. Typical. Shelley!
It's your fault Gina's hurt. You messed everything up. You'll have to be punished soon.
Who is this?
Did you like my present tonight?
Who is it?
Meow.